Hey, it's your girl, Boss Lady V, back with another video. Today, I want to talk about how toxic reality TV producers manipulate their cast. Producers use many tactics. They feed their cast alcohol, storylines, and lies to manipulate them into following a character arc created for them. But before we get started, I need you guys to do me a huge favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Sure you hit that subscribe button and put that notification button on so you know when I'm dropping some new content. So let's get into it. So, the first TV producer I want to talk about, or reality executive producer, is Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen has been in TV since he was working for CBS. He was producer of the Good Morning Show. He was producer of a lot of shows on CBS in the morning. Then he got moved up to Bravo. He became executives, producers of shows and particularly Housewives. And then he became an executive. And Andy helps make decisions on cast, who should be a friend, who should not be returning, and even more, right? But then we all know Nene introducing him Watch What Happened Lives, and Andy began to involve himself with the cast more than what he should outside of doing the reunions, right? So it began to make this narrative go viral that he had his picks and his favorites, right? So we all know that we thought Nene was a favorite and we thought Bethany Frankel was a favorite, right? That's non-negotiable. If you watch the girls trip, Ultimate Girls Trip with it was Giselle, Candace, uh Portia, and more. And some of the girls from Miami on that season of Ultimate Girls Trip. And Leah is a recovering alcoholic, and she sued Bravo and Andy Cohen for the reasons of working in a toxic environment. And she said that alleged in her filming that producers discriminated against her alcohol and mental issues, right? And Leah McSweeney was on Real Housewives of New York. And McSweeney claimed your favorite Bravo shows are run by people who create a dangerous work environment, encourage substance abuse to artificially create drama and cynical prey on the vulnerabilities of their employees, which means they become your friends. They become your friends, not Andy per se, but they have other little producers that are a part of the show, right? And these producers become close with you, or they pretend to get close to you so you could be more vulnerable and you can tell them your inner secrets, because we have to be honest, not everyone on reality TV want to live out their entire life on TV. So there's certain parts of you that you want to hide and keep secret for yourself and you don't want the world to know, correct? She also stated that the reality star further claimed that the high ranking Bravo execs drool over the mishaps and misfortunes of the reality stars in a manner she finds disturbing. It's a workplace culture where toxicity, alcohol, and pain are not only expected but encouraged. McSweeney alleged. McSweeney also took specific aim at Andy Cohen, claiming that he uses cocaine with his employees. Let's pause there. We heard Nene Leaks on a live with, oh my God, Ben Crump, stating these similar allegations against Bravo and Cole and Andy Cohen, right? So let's pause. Let's remember that. She took specific aim at Cohen, claiming that he uses cocaine with his employees to further promote a workplace culture that thrives off drug and alcohol abuse, which put those attempting to remain substance free in a difficult position. Cohen intends to provide the housewife with whom he uses cocaine with more favorite treatment and edit, she alleged. Nene said similar things about the drug allegations. Now, this is all alleged, but it's been said all about the reality TV world. So, that sounds like if you're not one of his favorites and you're not doing the things that he wants you to do, you're only going to get one, maybe two seasons. You're not going to get edit that favor you. You're going to look like a bad person. And three, you may be demoted to a friend. And while being a friend of, they might use everything that they know that's bad or was traumatizing in your life against you to help facilitate this narrative of what kind of person they want you to be on camera. Get it? Nene Leakes also sued Bravo and Andy Cohen. In her lawsuit, which was obtained by the Hollywood Reporter, Leakes' attorney attests that she was subjected to years of racist verbal abuse from co-star Kim Zolciak Bierman, who is white, and that when she complained to show execs, they did not terminate their relationship with Zolciak, Kim Zolciak, excuse me, nor take any other meaningful action to put an end to her racially offensive behavior. Instances of Zolciak's systematic racism mentioned in the suit include offensive anti-black stereotypical insults directed at Leakes and co-star Candy Burris. The suit also claims that Zolciak used the N-word against her black co-stars in 2012. We all remember that episode when it might have been Candy's first or second season on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And that's when she bought her house and the house next door, right? Which was like her entertainment part of her studio. When Kim was going to go visit Candy, at this time, Kim wanted Candy to produce this song, Tardy for the Party. And when she was trying to get close to Candy, she went to her home. And when they was driving through the gates, she asked her nanny or assistant, Sweetie, is this safe? Because it was ghetto to her. So that's what Nene was mentioning. I don't know when she used the N word. That must be behind cameras. But they all allege that Kim was getting special treatment, which was Kenya, Candy, Sheree, Marlo, Cynthia. That when she was pregnant, she used it to her advantage. She didn't have to film. She can lie. She can counsel whenever she wanted to. And also, when Kim's daughter put the video out like Nene had cockroaches in her house, that was very offensive to the black community. And Nene was very, very highly offended and upset about it, which was off, way off, and it was wrong because you don't videotape something in somebody's house that's wrong and try to blast it, excuse me, and use it against them to try to make them look bad. But that's just what that happened. So my question is, when being a TV producer of reality TV, should you not involve yourself in so much? But Nene says she was asked not to come back or to take a season off. Let's take a quick listen.
Housewife on the show, and all the other original housewives on their shows are white women, and they're all given full episodes. And I'm the only black original on my show, and I was given less. I'm given 6, they're all given 18. Why? And the only answer you can give me is you to tell me that I am unhappy. How do you know I'm unhappy? Are you inside of my body?
Well, how can you negotiate with them when they're demoting you and you were trying to get a certain amount of money, but they have all the leverage? Like, what was that whole experience like? Like, how, what's going on?
The experience of when I got the call to say,
What season was that?
like 3 seasons ago.
Like 13 or something, somewhere like that. I forget
like
what it
13,
was.
I think.
I don't remember.
12.
Okay, okay. So
12.
whatever.
I feel like this was a very important time in Black lives. It was Black Lives Matter movement. I'm an original housewife. I should be there. This is an important time. And I was basically told, flat out told, we need you to sit out this season, is what I was told.
But that's like what they did with Dorinda with a pause. She was drinking a lot the season before. She seemed, I guess, very angry, and she was unhinged, and so they like give her a pause. There are these arbitrary decisions that are like, you're now a friend, you're off, then you come back in. Like, it's very, it's the realm, the head of the realm, Oz, and I guess Oz is Andy and Bravo, are moving all the pieces around in the franchise and deciding that Ramon is now a friend, Luann's a friend, but you get to come back in. Phaedra, you did something terrible and said that Candy was
what
drugged.
did I do terrible? I need to see what that was.
Phaedra?
No, me.
Oh, no. I'm saying, but that's how I'm seeing that. Like, they're moving all these pieces on the chessboard. So right now you're a chess piece and you're being moved out. It's your turn to sit out this round. So you said, no, I'm not coming back at all. I'm done. I'm out.
The final decision came. I said I was going to take the 6 episodes, is what I said.
You did.
In the end, I said I'm going to go ahead and take it. Right?
Was that because of finances? What was that reason?
Not for finances, I don't think. At that time, no. It was because my team was saying do it. My husband was saying, you're great. When you get on the show, your 6 episode will probably turn into 10 or 15 because you're great. You're gonna be great. You're gonna be fine.
But that must feel very sad for you. Like,
so that's a little bit of what Nene was talking to Bethany Frankel. This was about a year ago when they did this interview. You can go on Bethany Frankel's channel and watch that interview. I think it's safe to say that Nene May is looking like she may not never return to RHOA. Is she needed? Yes, because it's been almost 2 years since we got the last season, and they've been casting, and it's been most of the season has already been spilled out. We already know what's going on with Portia and Simon. We already know what Kenya and Britt got going on. We know Drew and Portia. It's already out, so it's like the season has already been played. We just haven't watched it. And then they brought Phaedra back after she got off the bench, aka Quad. When Candy left, she was got off the bench. So Andy Cohen has his hand in everything. He gets to help pick the cast. He gets to help pick the friends of. He gets to pick how many episodes they get, and how many episodes they get is how much they get paid. And that's when things start going downhill for Housewives of Atlanta. Point blank. Period. Is Nene needed back on the show? Yes, they need to go back to the original cast. And I think at this time, Candy and Phaedra do need to have a sit down because it's just going overboard now. Let's just have a sit down, blow it up, talk about it, and get over it so you guys can get Housewife of Atlanta back on the scene, right? But we have to wait for that. Let's move on to Shaunie O'Neal Henderson. I'm gonna leave it like that. That's how I want to say her name. That's how I want to say it. Fans also wonder why O'Neal seems to always favor Evelyn despite her being in multiple physical altercations in the past, even being seconds away from charging Cece Gutierrez before she fell in a bush. We all know Shaunie Henderson is the executive producer of Basketball Wives, which started in Miami and now has been in LA for the last few years. Um, it took a hiatus, but it came back. When it came back, she used Tammy Roman to get the show back going. And when she felt like she didn't need Tammy no more and she ushered back in Evelyn, that's when you start seeing the dynamic change. We all know how little she thought of Royce, and we all know how she treated OG. This all is because Shaunie is a producer and a cast member on her show. which is a hard thing to deal with, to be on the show with one of the producers, right? Because once you know the producer best friend is on the show, here comes the problem. Shaunie has never ever on camera in a single season told Evelyn she was wrong for anything. Never. She has tried to shun Tammy, like, oh, we're not going to do this. It was like season 5 when Tammy jumped up and put her hands in Evelyn's face, like, say that again, say that again. She tried to say, oh, we're not going to do that. We talked about this. We talked about this, like she was disciplining Tammy. But when Evelyn was throwing bottles and throwing drinks, she just sat there. In her confessional, she's like, oh my God. It was never a moment of, this is wrong. We should not be doing this. She never condoned the violence that Evelyn brought to the TV. But yet, OG was not allowed to film the reunion because supposedly Evelyn was scared, which was not true because Cece had never laid, I mean, not Cece, OG had never laid her hands on anybody. But Evelyn has, you know? When they talk about being a producer and a cast member, excuse me, Tammy did an interview with Carlos King. And this is just a little bit what she had to say so you guys can see where I'm coming from.
Season is wrapped and you're in post production and you're sort of putting the episodes together with your editors. And that moment between Tammy and Keisha became fodder on social media. Yes. And it was so bad, Shaunie had to do a pickup scene talking about my friends and this aggressiveness. Did you feel that was a slap in the face? I absolutely felt betrayed by that because Shaunie was the one who showed me the footage of Keisha talking smack about me in the airport. As soon as we touched down for that cash trip, Shaunie showed me all the BTS footage of Keisha just ripping me to shreds. So like how you say little docile Keisha, no, that's not the case. But what happened was, and this is fuck it now. At the time, Keisha was involved with one of our show's producers. So instead of,
did you hear that? So that also made Tammy look bad. Not only was Shaunie a producer on the show, Keisha's boyfriend was also a producer on the same show. That is crazy.
Of airing the footage the way it really happened so that you could tell a real story. They cut out everything that made Keisha look like the bad guy and only left all the stuff that Tammy did, which is why I felt betrayed by Shaunie because it's like, you sat up in that airport and showed me all those scenes. You showed me that. And that we had been there 3 days on this cash trip. Jennifer stayed in her room. She was in hiding. Nobody wanted to deal with Kenya, who was there at the time. And the producer said, we don't have nothing, guys. You got to do something. So the next scene up was us at this bar and me going off on Keisha because I was asked to do that. Okay. Then at the end, Keisha hits the ground running, going back to the hotel and leaves her purse. I pick up her purse, bring it.
So that proves my point on how production can be manipulative, and this goes back to how they say they will feed you information to get the scene that they need so that the audience will stay engaged. Meaning they will tell you whatever they need to tell you. They will do whatever they need to do to get you to act ignorant, stupid, violent, brokenhearted on TV, right? And not only did Tammy say something about her, we also had OG. And they doing an interview with Carlos King, who I'm going to get next. So much so, Shaunie released a statement
and I think maybe also did a video, if I'm not mistaken, where she apologized to you and apologized for what was going on. Did you accept her apology, and did she ever reach out to you personally? Are you talking about the sit down with Mark Lamont Hill? Yeah. Okay, so that was, for lack of better words, damage control. That was not an apology to me. That was an apology for what she thinks or alleges I experienced or felt. She never once texted me, never once called me, never once had a on camera or off camera conversation about anything. The problem is I strongly believe if you really genuinely are sorry for something, you apologize for what you did, not what somebody feels. Because I don't feel anything. I haven't even touched the surface on how I felt. So far, I've only shared my experience. She's never called and apologized to me because she doesn't have the guts to. She doesn't have the courage to say, I was wrong in this entire scenario. Why? Because she's evil. That woman is evil. You heard it from me. I'm not the first person who said it, and I'm not the last person who's going to say it. Shaunie does not have a pure, clean spirit about her. I can say this because I've been around her. Everything that she does is for fake facade cameras. Look at how she did Tammy, her friend. Look at how she does Jackie 24/7, her friend. She's not cool. And look at how she allows her alleged associates and friends to act and then co-signs it. If you really wanted to have a conversation about colorism or a conversation about racism, you would have sat down with me, not Mark Lamont Hill, the other acceptable black person who's gonna be the puppy dog fall in line. Pick me. Isn't that what I've already explained? It's
So OG said, Evelyn got away with murder, and basically Shaunie was not capable of being understanding to her experiences on the show. Shaunie never acknowledged it, never apologized to her directly. It was just done on camera for face value. We all know this. We can see it every season on Basketball Wives. Shaunie is producing. Shaunie is on the show. Shaunie is showing Evelyn favoritism. She does Jackie any kind of way. She says enough, and Jackie says enough to get back on get graces, but then it's back on the next roller coaster, and it's back to the same situation. And Tammy, OG, and Royce was just three people who was not willing to kiss her ass, and therefore, and it was others. There were others, but these were the main three who always and are willing to speak out against her. Tammy haven't done it in a while, but she did it enough when she finally left the show and was finished with it. And let's just say before we move on, Tammy has done so well since she left Basketball Wives. She has so many shows on BET. She has her Bonnet Chronicles. She has her social media. Tammy is doing well, and congratulations to her of knowing when to walk away. Before we move on, make sure you're liking this video. Make sure you sharing your comments and hitting that share button. Now let's get into the latest TV producer who's in hot water, they say. I'm not sure if one of the things going around on TikTok is that So Gucci sued Carlos, but that I'm not sure of. Carlos has a reputation for striving to tell authentic stories and being protective of his cast. Excuse me, when you Google Carlos, this is something that come up. I don't know how true that is because some of his cast members have said some disparaging things about him, and he have quite a few people leaving his shows. Like Love and Marriage DC is completely gone. I don't think Love and Marriage Detroit got to the point where people liked it enough yet. They review it. We talked about. I have not even watched a single episode. I watched the first one because I'm from Detroit and I was excited about it, but it wasn't giving. I don't think he can replicate Love and Marriage Huntsville into these other franchises like Bravo. because it's just not giving, right? Love and Marriage DC was good. And then you have Bell Collective, right? Those are the three shows that he have out now that, well, really it's just Bell Collective and Love and Marriage Huntsville. I haven't heard anything about Love and Marriage DC in a while. The problem with Carlos King being a producer and hosting his Messy Mondays and recapping his own show with cast members of his shows and prior shows that he's been on, like Bravo cast members, is that it becomes messy water, if you get what I'm saying. If you think about it, if you work for Ford Motor Company, first, let's say Ford Motor Company, you're not going to get to hang out with the CEO. The only people you're going to know who's worked the line with you and your foreman and your UAW rep. That's it. But you're not going to get to hang out with the CEO. You're not going to be able to review your raise with the CEO. It goes through your foreman and your UAW rep, right? So Carlos said he's the king of reality TV. Nobody's going to try to downgrade him. I think him and Andy is neck and neck because Andy has more shows, but I don't know if that's because he's white or what. I'm not going to say that. But what went live for him, like almost 2 weeks ago, is when Akeisha quit live on his Messy Mondays, and he was not prepared for it at all. Let's take a listen.
And on heart health, vascular health, and menopause health. And it's in February. So it's going to be amazing because Gucci's mom died of a heart attack along with cancer. My mother died of massive heart attack. Her twin sister died of a heart attack. Willie's mom had a heart attack associated with lupus and lost her. And then her twin sister died in the beginning of the year. So we are really focusing on women's heart health, vascular health, and correlating how menopause associates with heart health. Yeah. So we're going to do that. And but anyway, I just wanted to step in. I am excited that Bell Collective has been picked up for another season. I got my pickup letter.
Yeah, that's right.
We were excited about that, and we want to congratulate Carlos, and we want to congratulate the show, and thank you for allowing us to be a part of the platform. But unfortunately, we will not be returned. So just wanted to say that. The colognes are done.
At this point, Carlos' face is
frozen. So thank y'all and Merry Christmas.
So you got cast members quitting on your live and your face is stuck because you don't know or didn't expect that to happen, right? People on, I'm just going to say Love and Marriage Huntsville, are tired of the backlash they get on social media. And then Carlos gets on his YouTube channel and elevates that criticism or harshness that the cast member get to the next level, right? Because you're already getting criticized for what they see on camera, and then the audience is criticizing what they see on Messy Mondays as well, right? So I think one of the issues with Carlos is he think he is helping get viewers to his shows and not recognizing the damage that's being done to his cast member. Because if you bring Stormy on and she's got so much negative to say about Mel, you know Mel is going to see it. And how do you think Mel is going to feel if you're laughing and your mouth is dropping and your eyes is bucking at something somebody said, a cast member said on your live about another cast member on that particular show? It's just going to put some more bumps in the road. Stormy quit Love and Marriage Huntsville because a millimeter came in her shop. She defended herself, rightfully so, and she was the one who got arrested. Now she has this court case, and she didn't like the fact that I don't think she got enough support from the show, nor did Melanie take accountability, which is not her fault because she can't control people. But I do think Melanie should put out a statement and said, I do not condone calling people jobs, calling people business, showing up to people business and harassing them for my name's sake because I can handle my own battles. That is something that Melanie should have said. Now, on and Tiffany Whitlow also left Love and Marriage Huntsville for us. Is she never did come out and say, but she couldn't deal with the backlash on social media, particularly the millimeters. Now, don't come at me. I'm just stating what had happened, okay? On Love and Marriage DC, Winter Harris was the one that put the light on Carlos and how toxic his production company is. And she went on Queen Sheba. Hold on, let me find it so I can. One second, because I had it queued and now I'm not seeing it. Okay, got it. So Winter Harris was one of the cast member on Love and Marriage DC. She stated that she was made out to be a villain that she was not really wanting to be, and that she was fed information, the cast was fed information, and which always made her look like the bad person. And this is just a little bit how she explained how toxic Carlos King production company is.
That I'm valued.
Okay.
That's my truth. I feel like I'm easily replaceable. And when you will go so far as to maintain a name that I have expressed over and over again that I want no parts of and I want for you to change, you don't care. You don't care. So that's like, why would I stay where I'm tolerated and not appreciated and celebrated? That makes no sense. I wouldn't do that in the professional or corporate world. I'm certainly not going to do it with something that I consider a hobby because you don't pay enough for it to be.
The shade. Where's my sunglasses? Oh, I left them in my purse. The shade of it all.
Right. This is not my full-time job. This is not what keeps a roof over my head.
That was funny as hell. A hobby. Listen.
It's a hobby.
Well, he treated it like a hobby. I mean, when you lose communication for almost a year, but why are you really leaving? Is there like a reason that you have not shared or?
When I tell you what I have experienced, I won't even take it back too long. Of course, we know that season 1 was tumultuous for me. That is not a secret if anybody watched season 1. Yeah. That reunion was brutal.
Yeah, I wanted to fight.
Everybody did.
I wanted to fight.
Everybody did. I've never recanted, and it makes me emotional. So I am gonna be.
Take your time.
I don't like to. I don't want to be a crybaby because that's.
It's okay.
So I remember filming that reunion. I was sitting in my chair. Of course, you guys know, and I was sitting essentially in the same chair I was sitting in that reunion. So this is like, of course, we know the fellas, the husbands were going in. The only person who defended me was Chris. You guys saw that. The craziest thing, I was frozen. People always commend how I just sat there and took it. But I honestly mentally checked out of that moment. That is probably one of the most toxic verbal situations I've ever been in my life. Yeah. I don't come from an abusive family. My dad was present. He treated us like queens and princesses growing up. So I was not used to men yelling and being that, in my opinion, aggressive. It was not stopped.
By who?
It wasn't stopped by Carlos. It wasn't stopped by production. It wasn't stopped by network. Let's be clear.
Okay.
Network was present and on site. I met every last one of them.
Okay.
Um,
Similar to Martell Hope going off on set. I heard he put his hands on somebody, but go ahead. So it wasn't stopped.
It wasn't stopped. I remember, and at first I thought it was crazy. I'm not even kidding. I remember hearing one of the producers on set, as the men are yelling and calling me all sorts of whatevers, there's another man on set, he's a producer, yelling, "Get her, get her, get her, get her." And I was like, this
What?
is, I'm so, I, as God is my witness, I am not.
That's a little bit of what Winter Harris talked to Queen Sheba about. I don't understand how or why, though it's a why. Carlos King would sit there and let a TV producer on his show harass one of his cast members. Carlos King is the host, which I believe there goes another line in the sand. Carlos should not be a host of his own show for the reunion. He needs to get a YouTuber like Funky Dineva will be great. Jamie, that's me, will be great because they don't have nothing to gain or lose. They're outsiders looking in. Well, I'm not going to see Funky Dineva. Well, yeah, Funky Dineva because he's going to keep it real regardless of his friendship with Carlos. But for another man to just join in on the bandwagon of harassing a woman, is just for one, you're punk, you're weak, and for you to sit there and allow one of your cast members to be harassed and brutally harassed like that by men, it's just a shame. And it's been said that Carlos King promotes a male identified environment, meaning he's for the men. And I don't know, I'm not going to say that. Nope, because I don't want to be putting up no alleged or saying alleged. Monique was one of the stars that was from Real Housewives of Potomac. And she said he did her dirty. He did her worse than he did the white people. And we all know that's how he got Love and Marriage DCI because nobody knew who none of the other cast members were, but we knew Monique from Housewives of Potomac. She had just came off her hot indie of Blazing Giselle with the notebook, the binder rather. So we knew who she was. But this is what Monique had to say.
It was a huge test of just like, all right, let's see how much you've grown. How did that show come about? So when I left Housewives, there was one of the producers that used to be a part of Housewives franchise who started his own. He approached me with support and came at me with some like, we black and these white shows, they don't show black people in the light that they should be shown in, and it can be natural drama, it doesn't have to be this scripted drama, and it created a relationship of like, all right, let's see what we can do together, let's work together. So I believed him when he used the black card, and he did me worse than the white folks. I was like, he could have waited to the second season to trash me.
So you think Love and Marriage DC did you worse than Real Housewives of Potomac?
Yeah.
Damn.
It was worse. It was like there was no context. There was no reason to all of the fussing and fighting. It was like it's love and marriage. So show the full outlook of what a love and marriage, like show what all of it looks like, right? I have always been very open on camera. Like,
So that's what Monique Samuels had to say. She said Carlos did her dirty. We all know that it was said and it was out there, and he never did deny only paying his cast the max of $2,500, and Monique was making the most, according to Winter, on that show. I can't even believe that Monique would settle for $2,500. I know she was getting more than that on Potomac. It, I mean, but his shows get lots and lots of reviews. They get a lot of views. They get renewed every season. Again, I don't know what's going on with Love and Marriage DC, but Huntsville and Bell Collective get renewed every season. And I think Detroit is coming back, if I'm right, but I could be wrong. So the problem is, at the end of the day, and oh wait, before I go there, Melanie has stepped into the chat and recently, in the last week, unfollowed Carlos. And it's been said that Ariane has been on set filming on Huntsville. Now, Carlo knows, On knows, and Kingdom Reign know that Mel had zero tolerance of Ariane, aka Coleslaw, ever being on any episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. For them to go that far to bring her on, allegedly, one, the ratings must be low. Mel is not coming back. And that's it. It ain't even nothing else. The rating must be low and they want to drive the narrative. But at this point, who wants to see Ariane? We already know that Mel and Martell is divorced. We've seen the battle. We've seen the downfall. We've seen the arguments and them accusing each other of this and taking each other to court. We now at the point where they can't even film together. What more do we need to know about the Ariane included in the storyline? What can she bring but to highlight Martell lies? That's it. And they give him what? Someone to be on his side that could try to bring Mel down. And when Melanie heard about how Dr. Heavenly was talking trash about her, or allegedly talking trash, and Carlos didn't stop it, she wasn't happy about it. And Melanie was pissed. So this is what Melanie said on one of her lives on either Instagram or TikTok.
Because it needs to be said. It needs to be said. So I'm gonna say it. But when you are in a leadership position or so-called leadership position or executive position, cleanser and mango, it's just certain things that you just supposed to like you don't talk about you don't you don't talk about your people that's putting a check in your pocket. You don't. I ain't never seen. I'm just gonna be honest. I've never seen the owner of let's see, what's a good one? I've never witnessed. What you say, Cohen? I've never seen the owner. Let's think of a good brand. 7th Avenue. Talk about the people who's putting money in our pockets, the people who are part of this team, the people who make the wheels turn. What I look like getting up here talking about Lauren. Now I compare with it, but that and then one person still show up to work the next day. Okay? What I look like doing that for? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? That's like, there are people who are on a path of self-destruction, and that's all they know is self-destruction. It ain't nobody doing it to you. It ain't nobody forcing you nothing. You are self-destructing yourself. Okay? Somebody said toxic leadership. That part. Oh.
She could be talking about.
Okay. Now you got Melanie, who is also a producer on the show, calling Carlos King, supposed to be her best pal, toxic leadership. And it's coming down hard on Carlos right now because now So Gucci is leaving. She's saying that the show brought out a side of her that she didn't want for entertainment's sake. So you lost Akeisha and Sophia from Bell Collective. Stormy left in the middle of the season on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Stormy left in the middle of the season. And Tiffany Whitlow left in the middle of a season. Destiny comes and goes. And now it's a big chance that your main star might be leaving your show. What are you doing? Are you self-destructing? Or do you think you're untouchable? And I think that's what happens with Andy, Shaunie, and Carlos. They become so big in the reality world, in the TV world, that they believe that they are untouchable. And when it's just not good for, excuse me, TV producer to be a part or aligning themselves with cast members. It creates an ethical concern regarding manipulation, potential conflicts of interest, and undermines the authenticity of the show by giving producers too much control over their own narrative on screen, right? And they prioritize their own role to facilitate the story of the cast, not to become part of it. Producers do have the power to influence situation, edit footage in a way that benefits their own portrayal on the show, potentially creating an unfair advantage or narrative to favor them or their favorite cast members or whoever kisses their ass the most. We have to, I mean, it's just honest. Let's just keep it real. If a producer is also a cast member, they may make decisions that benefit their own storyline at the expense of making other cast members feel degradable, replaceable, not worthy, gained up on, and just done any kind of way basically. And when you do that, you have your picks, and you want to pay the ones that does what you want them to do the most, and not. Excuse me. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have on there. But it's a conflict of interest. It's having a producer on the cast can disrupt the authenticity of the show. It's just it's just the honest opinion that I have about producers being on the show. Um, and I think they need to pull themselves away. Carlos has some, I don't know if it's true or not, allegedly been banned from interacting with Bravo cast members on his podcast. Don't allegedly, I do not know if that's true, but it seems that way. And I think instead of interviewing all VH1 and Bravo and cast members and what's going on with them, ex members of these shows, focus on your own shows. Get your show back on track, because at one while, we have to be on Love and Marriage Huntsville was the show. And it was a dynamic of black couples building houses and real estate and having businesses, and they was supposed to inspire other black people to do the same, or just so happy to see happy black couples on TV. Now, Love and Marriage Huntsville is turning to Love and Hip Hop. Martell is going at Tisha, saying she have a man in a Buick. He's saying that Tisha was sleeping with one of his friends, and Marceau know about it. Marceau allegedly and Tisha that Martell is gay. It's just going haywire, and it's no longer have that thrill and excitement to the show. It's all about drama, lies, and just nastiness. Again, nobody wants to see Ariana on the show. I don't. I think that ship has sailed. And if you're going to do Melanie like that, that means you have no respect for nobody on your show. Again, Melanie should look at how Tammy was done, how Nene was done, how Bethany was doing, how Leah was done, and see, you could never think that you're too close with the producer that they won't backstab you, because they're in it for themselves. It's their show that they created, and it's their production company, right? So I've been talking for a long time now. That's pretty much all I have on that. I will be discussing some more things later on today. I'm going to get back into making more content. I'm going to really push myself. But thanks for watching. Make sure you watch these other videos. Make sure you are subscribing, and make sure you like up the video. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.